put your money where your mouth is. If you keep saying that you're over it, then be over it and like literally walk away. Being up their ass, you can see it building in her and building, and she's gonna pop eventually. You know, they talk a little bit more shit. Can pull me from the dark. Hello. Today I'm going to be talking about Real Housewives of New Jersey, episode 11. In this week's episode, the ladies are still in Ireland and they are having a good time. After a fun night of beer chugging, the next morning the ladies all meet up for breakfast at the castle, and Melissa tells Rachel Fuda that Danielle called her a rat the other day in her store before they're getting ready to go on the trip. Which again, this is like their jobs, right? They just like, they need to stir the pot. So when Danielle comes down for breakfast, she's like, good morning, and like all happy and cheery. And then Rachel says something like, oh, it smells like a rat or something like that. And Danielle's like, so they rehashed like that whole argument about why Danielle's upset with Rachel for telling Margaret what was talked about when they were both talking about the same kind of things, and Rachel essentially throws her under the bus. And I don't understand why Margaret is so upset at Danielle, because literally these women, all of them do the same thing. They all talk shit about each other behind each other's backs, and then someone in that conversation goes and tells the other person, and then it's a fight. So like, it's just, that is what they all do. And she kind of says it like, we all like repeat what everyone else says. So why is it that it's not okay for Danielle to repeat what she heard, but it's okay for Rachel to come to Marge and repeat what she heard? Like, and Rachel already told Margaret and Melissa at the baseball game that that's what she heard, and she hopes that that's not true. And so she was essentially having the same conversation with Rachel Fuda, and then she goes and she rats on her. Like, I agree, like maybe I'm not from Jersey, so I don't understand the magnitude that that word like holds, but logically speaking, when a rat tells on someone, like that's what you're doing, you're telling on someone. She went and she told on Danielle. So like, they're never going to agree. And you know, basically Dolores was like, all right, this is enough, like we're going in circles here, like let's get up to go get ready. And so they are on their way to go shopping, and in the bus ride, Rachel Fuda asks Teresa if Melissa's kids and her kids are still close. And Teresa starts saying like, well, they used to be, but Antonia didn't go to Melania's Sweet 16, and that's really caused some separation. And Melissa got pissed off. She's like, don't say Antonia's name. Don't even go there. Like, if you want to be that aunt, go ahead, but I'm not going to be that aunt. And then they go shopping, and everyone kind of breaks off into their own little gossip groups. And Melissa and Marge are talking about it. She just keeps talking about how she would never do that. And, you know, why is she trying to bring the kids into it? And that was so wrong. And then like everyone has their opinion, so everyone's like talking about it. And Teresa's like, Rachel Fuda asked that question, then maybe she shouldn't have asked that question. But I was going to answer it with the truth, and that's the truth. Melania's feelings are really hurt because she went to Antonia's Sweet 16, so why wasn't Antonia able to do that for her? And Melissa's excuse is that Antonia had a cheer competition, and you can't just like not go. I guess it kind of shows that like obviously you guys are not that close, because maybe if they were, Teresa would be like, hey, I'm planning to have Antonia's Sweet 16 on this date, and then Melissa would be like, just so you know, Antonia has a cheer competition that weekend, so we probably won't be able to make it. And then Teresa would have moved it. Like, that's how close families work. Like, that's how I'm sure like my family would work if we had like a bunch of cousins or whatever. You kind of talk and you plan, you schedule around people's events. So it's sad to see that the kids are also being affected by this huge rift in the family. Then once they're done shopping, they go back to the castle so they can get ready for dinner, and Melissa calls Joe Gorga to tell her about the fight that they had, and she's like,
Joe, I'm just so tired, like I don't think I can do this anymore.
And she even, I forget, but at the shopping, she's telling Margaret that at one point Teresa said that she needed to cut the cancer out, and that's when she stopped talking to her cousins, Kathy Wakili and Ramona. I don't remember the other cousin's name. She's like, so maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe like, you know, it's time. So like she keeps threatening, and maybe not so much Joe, but Melissa specifically, she's just like, I'm done. Like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I'm over it. There comes a point when you just have to just stop. And I'm just like, I don't want to do this. And so it's like, okay, then don't do this. Then walk away. Then you guys should, for your peace of mind, which a lot of housewives have done this before, they finally leave. I mean, LVP did it. Like, Like, it's been done. So you could walk away, but you're not going to, because you need your paycheck, because this is how you live your life. You live on this feud, so you're never going to walk away. And by you threatening, like, it's just making it worse. And at some point, Teresa, I guess Teresa has already said that she's done. So I keep saying it would be so nice if they would get fired. I don't know if they're going to. Apparently there's grumblings on the internet that everyone from Jersey is coming back for the next season, so that was a little disappointing, because I really thought that we were going to be able to get the Gorgas off the show, but here we are. We'll see how that all plays out. But my thing is, like, put your money where your mouth is. If you keep saying that you're over it, then be over it and, like, literally walk away. But you won't, because you won't. Then they meet up for dinner, and the feud between Marge and Jennifer Aydin comes back up, and Marge in essence apologizes for calling Jennifer a disheveled drug addict. In her interview, she's like, she's still disheveled. I'm not gonna apologize for that, but I'll take away the drug addict part. So for Jennifer Aydin to get back at her, she calls her a booga wolf, which is like, Marge makes fun of her. She's like, of course, she tried to say a joke and it just didn't quite land the way she wanted it. And so yeah, it's like just another prime example of Jennifer putting her foot in her mouth. Like, booga woof, really? Like, you're trying to be funny? Are you trying to be smart? Are you trying to be both? I will agree with Marge, it didn't land. And so Melissa's like looking up the definition of booga wolf and whatever. And then it goes on to the fight again between Danielle and Rachel. Like, they're never going to be friends. It's kind of sad that they missed the opportunity of having each other's back because they're both the newbies. But it's every man for themselves. So obviously Rachel feels safe with Marge and Melissa and just being up their ass, and Danielle is kind of like standing on her own. I guess you can say that she's on Teresa and Jennifer Aydin's side, but I really think that she's holding her own. And yeah, she's getting fed up. Like, you can see it building in her and building, and she's gonna pop eventually. The episode this week was all right. Like, nothing too exciting. They did just film the reunion this week, and there wasn't a lot of like leaks or anything. Apparently page 6 says that Teresa was unhinged, and I'm hearing that was Melissa and Joe Gorga giving page 6 like their side of things, and that Jennifer Aydin and Marge made up at the reunion. And yeah, I don't know, nothing really came out that was like super juicy or super exciting. I guess we'll have to wait for it to actually air to get all the juicy details. At this point, the after show is actually a little bit more interesting than the current episode that was aired. I like seeing the back and forth, like the behind the scenes of the ladies and their opinions and whatnot, and that's where they talk a little bit more about, they talk a little bit more shit, and they're able to do it together. And so yeah, we'll see what next week brings. But again, I really appreciate you guys being here and hanging out. I hope to see you on the next one. Bye guys. Can pull me from the dark.